Hi everyone. Welcome to the second part of our look into LearningExpress Library. If you haven't seen the first part, check out the link above. The first video covered the Career Center and the Job and Career Accelerator. Today, we're going to look through the High School Equivalency Center and the School Center. So let's begin. From our homepage at countylibrary.org, we'll click on eLibrary and then Research Databases. We can find the LearningExpress Library in the New and Featured section, but we can find it permanently in Study Guides. Let's click on it. Just as a reminder, you will need a library card and a free account with LearningExpress Library to use the database. Let's first take a look at the High School Equivalency Center. So we see 6 categories here. Are you ready? Build your basic skills. Prepare for the GED test. GED in Espanol. Prepare for the high set. And prepare for task test assessing secondary completion. We're going to click on Are You Ready?, which will send us to a page that shows all of these sections. Before we look at the contents of this section, let's look at this note. It says, Getting ready for your state's high school equivalency test? Learn how the resources here can help you prepare. I'm now going to click this link. I won't read through each sentence, but these paragraphs tell us that different high school equivalency exams are required in different states. The map below will help us find what we need. And we can see, according to this, that Texas, labeled in red, requires the GED, the high set, and the task tests. Scrolling down a bit more, this section advises us how to best use the resources. It suggests the Are You Ready section first, the Build Your Basic Skills section next, and the individual test help after that. And if we take a look at the center's menu up here, we will notice that LearningExpress Library already puts these in order from us. Are you ready? Build your basic skills. And then the individual tests, GED, high set, and task. So let's continue on with Are You Ready? Are You Ready contains 3 links, all of which are about studying for the Tabe, which stands for Test for Adult Basic Education. I'm going to click on the first skills check. Now we can see that this section contains 14 tests for the Tabe 9 and 10. There are practice tests for vocabulary, spelling, reading, math, language, and if we scroll back up to the top and go to the second page, we see another set of language tests and applied math. Let's click on one of these tests. This page will tell you a bit more about the test itself, how to take the test, how to answer questions, how to change your answers, how to navigate through the questions, how to score your test, how to view the instructions, and how to view the answers. The box here on the right will tell me how many questions there are and how long you have to take the test. Finally, you can choose your test mode. Simulation will force you to adhere to the time limit. Practice will show you when your time is up, but will not stop you from continuing to answer questions. And finally, Learner acts more a bit like flashcards than an actual test. You will, of course, be able to save your progress and return later. Let's go back. The second of the skills check, the Tabe 11 and 12, also contains practice questions for various Tabe subjects. Let's click on Ebooks now. As we can see in the description, this ebook specifically covers the Tabe 9 and 10 Level A test. I want to pause on this page before we go back and take a look at these two tabs here. We're currently looking at Browse Resources, as we can see right here. I'm going to click on Learn More Guidance. And as we can see, it now indicates that we are on this section. This page is just saying that if you don't feel ready to take the GED, HiSET, or task tests, you should start by taking the Tabe Skills Check practice tests that we saw on the previous pages to see what skills you need to improve on. While not all sections will have the Learn More Guidance tab, it is best to check for it and read it if it is available. Let's go back to the High School Equivalency Center. We explored Are You Ready? So we'll now click on Build Your Basic Skills. This contains 5 sections. Build your reading skills, your writing skills, your math skills, your grammar skills, and your vocabulary and spelling skills. While you can read through all of these, LearningExpress Library recommends taking the Tabe practice tests that we found in the Are You Ready section to discover what skills you need to work on. Because each of these 5 sections contains a similar set of resources, we're going to look through Build Your Reading Skills as an example. Let's click on Level 1 Skill Builders. And before we look at these, let's click on the Learn More Guidance tab. This just reiterates the importance of starting with the Tabe test and reminds us that we also have access to tutorials, which we'll see in a little bit, to help us learn more. Let's go back. We see a series of practice tests about literary reading and informational reading. As we can see, there are several tests for each. Let's go back to Build Your Basic Skills. We just took a look at Level 1 Skill Builders. Level 2 and Level 3 Skill Builders are also practice tests, but they're going to increase in difficulty. I'm going to click on Tutorials now. And I'm going to click Start the Tutorial so we can see what this looks like. If you watched Part 1 of our Look into LearningExpress Library, you may recognize this layout. The main content of the tutorial will be shown in the center, and you can navigate through the tutorial using the menu here on the left. Okay, let's go back. Next in line after tutorials are ebooks. There are 5 in this section, each of which was written to help with reading skills like reading comprehension and memory. Clicking Download ebook will download it as a PDF to your device. Going back to Build Your Basic Skills. Finally, each section offers resources in Spanish, also focusing on this case on reading comprehension. There is a basic reading abilities tutorial on the left and a bilingual ebook on the right. Let's move on. So we covered Build Your Basic Skills using Build Your Reading Skills as our examples. Scrolling down, the next section is the Prepare for the GED test section. The GED is one of the 3 tests that, according to LearningExpress Library, are required in Texas. Much like the Build Your Skills section we just saw, this GED preparation section is grouped by subjects: general information about the test, language arts, mathematical reasoning, science, and social studies. Each section contains different learning resources. For example, this contains flashcards, and this one does not. But this one has practice tests. Just below, we can see that most of these resources are duplicated in Spanish. The next test is the high set. Once again, the available study help is grouped by subject: language arts, mathematics, social studies, and science. We can also see a separate section for ebooks, which, of course, doesn't fit the subject matter organization. This ebook, however, actually contains 2 full-length high-set practice tests, which we'll download as a PDF. The third individual test and the last section in the High School Equivalency Center is the task. Once more, we see the resources are grouped by subject, although they are all practice tests, except for the ebooks. The ebook also contains 3 full-length practice tests, though it does also cover the structure of the new task test. We have finished looking through the High School Equivalency Center, so let's go back to the home page. The second section we're going to cover is the School Center, which is divided into elementary school, middle school, and high school. Let's go take a look. Most of the resources in the School Center are practice tests, although we will also see some tutorials and ebooks mixed throughout. Elementary school is our first section, which is divided into 3 subsections of math skills improvement, reading comprehension skills improvement, and practice for state tests. These are all practice tests, and we can see that the topics are very specific, such as algebraic reasoning practice in the math skills improvement section, and informational reading practice in the reading comprehension skills improvement section. You'll find multiple practice tests in each of these links. The same is true of the STAR practice test section. Here you can find reading and mathematics practice tests for the STAR tests for grades 4 and 5. Going back, and scrolling down, the second section is the middle school section, which has 7 subcategories. One for math skills, reading comprehension skills, writing and grammar, social studies, vocabulary and spelling, high school entrance exams preparation, and practice for the state tests. Most of these say practice at the end, as we can see here, which means they are practice tests. With some of these, the subject matter is very specific. For example, in the math skills improvement section, we have proportionality practice. Others, on the other hand, are very broad, like vocabulary practice under the vocabulary and spelling skills improvement section. The links with the word preparation, as seen in the high school entrance exams preparation section, these do not indicate a new type of resource just because it says preparation. Instead, this is a collection of tutorials, practice tests, and other resources that are centered around these tests. Finally, the high school section is set up similarly to the other two. We have logic and reasoning, math, reading comprehension, science skills, social studies, statistics, technology, trigonometry, vocabulary and spelling, writing and grammar, and practice for the state tests. Once again, most of these are practice tests. Let's go back to the home page for a quick summary. Today, we covered the High School Equivalency Center and the School Center. The High School Equivalency Center focuses on test preparation if you're taking the GED, the HiSET, or the task test, though they could be helpful subject reviews. The School Center, on the other hand, focuses on study help from elementary grades to high school grades.
Thank you so much for watching. Next time, we're going to explore the College Admissions Test Preparations Center, the College Success Skills Center, and the College Center Plus. See you next time.